It's your Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review for Sistas Season 9, Episode 17. Episode picks up, and everybody's still at Hayden's house, and Gary's trying to apologize to Zach and Fatima, but Zach and Fatima aren't buying it, and he's like, you could check to see if the money is real, you could get it tested and everything. Everybody's not buying what Gary's trying to sell, and Fatima's like, the money is real. Hayden's like, so why are you really here? Are you trying to get right with God or anything? Are you sick? Gary's like, no, I've just faced the light too many times and I want to make my life. A whole conversation about that, and Hayden's like, well, since I'm not getting any money out of this conversation or anything like that, y'all can leave my house. So everybody leaves. Zach and Fatima have a conversation in the car. They talk about everything that went down with Gary. Zach hears Fatima's stomach growling, so she's ashamed, like she ate like 6 times a day, and Zach is like, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want something to eat, I'll go get you something healthy. Of course, they go to Richard's juice bar. Rich and Zach are talking, and he's making fun of him for the night that he was drunk and singing all loud in the bar, and Zach is like, I thought he was moving past that. Now the conversation switches to Sabrina, and Fatima's like, you must really have feelings for her, and you must really love her, because other guys that I know, they would have given up by now. And Rich is like, I really do love her, and Zach is like, well, I can help you get her back. I was a cupid back in my day. And Fatima's like, what? Zach is going to come up with a plan to help Rich get Sabrina back. And I'm like, honestly, they don't need to get back together, but okay. At Danny's, we see Danny home, and she's looking in her envelope, and she realizes that her money is gone. And she's like, I know I didn't put the money anywhere, so where did my money go? So Tony comes back in. She's explaining that her money is missing. Tony's trying to tell her that he took the money. Why'd you steal from me? Tony's like, I didn't steal from you, I borrowed it. If you take something without permission, that is stealing. That is not borrowing, Tony, but okay. What school did you go to? So Danny's like, again, why did you steal from me? And Tony's like, well, it was for child support and a gambling debt. Danny asked the same question that I wanted to know. How did your kids become my responsibility, and why did you use my money to pay off your debts? If you knew you had these debts earlier, why didn't you save some money to pay them? But no, you decided to take my $10K and go pay your debts. The thing that I don't understand is, how did Tony blow through money in a week? Because we found out that Tony has only been unemployed for a week. And in that same token, Danny, if he's only been unemployed for a week, why are you begging this man to go find a job? We find out that somebody in Danny's family had a gambling addiction, so she knows what addiction looks like. Tony's like, I'm not addicted to it. I've been doing this since college. And Tony's like, the reason I've been trying to rent out my house is to pay off some of my debts. And Danny's like, well, you're about to be out of house because I'm not letting you take me down with you, so you gotta go. So she kicks Tony out, and all this other. 2 things can be very true at one time. Tony should have definitely never took your money, but Danny, you should have left your money in the bank and never left $10,000 just laying around in your house like it's okay. You must forget that she has a cousin who went to jail for robbery who likes to come over to her house and play the game with Tony. Some time passes, and Danny keeps getting calls from different numbers, and so she answers the phone, and she thinks that it's Tony, but Tony tells Danny that he returned the money, and she hangs up the phone, so she gets another call, and it happens to be the officer. They have a conversation, and I'm like, Danny, if only you knew that that officer was trying to talk to Andy at the same time, you wouldn't be answering your phone. It's definitely gonna be some mess when Danny finds out that the officer is trying to talk to her and Andy at the same time. It's not going well. Over at Andy's, we see Andy getting ready for a date with Dr. Vaughn. She's pulling out the wine and everything, and she winds up calling Sabrina to ask Sabrina, should she sleep with Dr. Vaughn? And Sabrina's like, I can't tell you what's. Andy's like, well, do you think I'm a hoe? Sabrina's like, where is this coming from? Is it because of what Danny said? Yeah. Andy's starting to realize that what Danny said was true, and she don't lie about it. And Sabrina's like, no, you're not a hoe. You're just exploring your options. Sabrina, you need to keep a spade and tell her what it is. She is a hoe and she has a right. Andy, I have a question for you. What happened to you being grown and you don't have to explain yourself to anybody and you don't have to ask nobody for their opinion? What happened to that? You're starting to change now after Danny got into your head and you're starting to believe what she said is true. That's why you're convicted about the things that you wanted. So Dr. Vaughn eventually comes over there, sitting there talking. He's like, I had a long day at work. Andy's sitting there dining him, basically making it seem like she's going to sleep with him. So she goes in the room to get dressed because she tells Dr. Vaughn that she's going to put on something more comfortable. While she's in her room, she leaves Sabrina a voicemail asking her what to wear and all this other stuff about should she sleep with Dr. Vaughn. And Dr. Vaughn knocks on the door and he's like, are you alright in there? And he's like, yeah, I'll be alright out. So Andy comes out with this full pajama set on, and Dr. Vaughn is like, that's not what I thought you were going to wear, but okay. Dr. Vaughn had a completely different idea about how the night was going to go down, so he eventually plays sleepy because it doesn't go his way. So Andy's like, I just wanted to sit down and talk about the case. Dr. Vaughn is like, I had a long day at work and I don't feel like talking about work anymore, so I'm going to go. Andy's like, you sure? Dr. Vaughn is like, yeah, I'll call you tomorrow. I'm honestly surprised that Andy didn't sleep with him, but it looks like the way that she was thinking that she wasn't going to do it. So some time passes and Andy's mom shows up. And Andy's like, what are you doing here? Andy's mom is like, well, your aunt's place wasn't the way that I expected it to be. That's why I'm here. And then they start talking about Dr. Vaughn and how everything's going with that. Andy's mom is like, I prayed for you. And she starts quoting a scripture. Andy's just there and listens. And she's like, well, since you're here, you can stay in my room. Over at Sabrina's, we see Sabrina sending pictures to Rock because that's what Maurice told her to do. I don't know why she decided to do that, but okay. So she gets a text from Dr. Rock. Rock eventually comes over. They sit down and have a conversation, and Sabrina must think that she's Clifford from P-Valley, talking about all these rules that she has, and she doesn't want romance and all these other things, and she doesn't want a boyfriend. And Rock pulls out some red pills, and he's like, take these, he's gonna help you relax. And Sabrina's like, I can't do that because I gotta go to work. Eventually, all goes out the window once her and Rock get down to business. They eventually get down to business about 3-4 times, and then she eventually tells Rock to leave, and Rock is like, well, that's a rule that's on the list, so I guess I gotta follow it. Some time passes, and Sabrina gets a call from Damani. I'm like, Damani, what are you doing here? I thought you left this storyline a long time ago. But apparently Damani's back, and he's basically telling her that she has to get rid of the embryos. And I'm like, Damani, you might not have to worry about that because I think that Sabrina's going to get pregnant by Danny's cousin Ron. Why would he want her to get rid of the embryos now when he was so gung-ho about Sabrina doing this and he was so willing to help her? Why does he want her to get rid of them? At the salon, we see Karen going over there to talk to Pam and about her moving to Seattle, and Maurice is there to get his haircut by Pam. So she basically tells him that she's moving to Seattle and she thanks Pam for holding the salon down, and Pam is like, as your friend, it was no problem, but as an employee, this was a lot. Pam was like, since you're moving to Seattle, what's going to happen with the riches? Karen is like, I'm still going to be a silent partner. Like, well, one of you will want to buy the salon? Maurice is like, I can't do it. Even though I have my fixation page, I'm kind of broken. I ain't got enough capital. Pam is like, as good as that sounds, I don't have enough capital either. So Karen's just going to have to sell it to anybody. Well, Karen lets them know that she wants to get everybody together. And Maurice is like, well, we could do it at my house. And Karen's like, okay. So this is the first time where everybody will be at Maurice's house. I wonder how this will all play out. Karen makes it home and she eventually tells Aaron about everything that happened with the girls at the dinner. And Aaron's like, the girls didn't take it well, apparently. Karen lets him know that Andy and Danny are beefing somehow. And Aaron's like, well, Danny be beefing with everybody. She just chooses which person she wants to be mad at on what day. Karen has the nerve to say, don't talk about my girl like that. Karen, you used to talk about Danny so bad and now you want to defend her. I talk about the move, and Aaron lets Karen know that he has a position at this nonprofit seminary school. And I'm like, after like 9 seasons and 6 of them with you being unemployed, you finally want to find a job now? He tells Karen that they're going to have to move in a week. And Karen's like, a week? Karen's like, how are we going to do that? We don't even have a place. Karen's like, well, the position that they give housing to families. It's being all understanding, and Karen's like, well, I got a lot of stuff to do in a week, huh? Karen's like, yeah. So, I don't know how this is all going to play out. They're already unhappy that you're moving, and let them find out that you're moving in a week. It's definitely going to be some problems. And I wonder how Miss Lisa's going to feel about that. Then we see Aaron propose to Karen. He's like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I love you and all this. Karen doesn't give this man an answer. I think she's going to say yeah. Like, the requirement in order to get to the housing is that y'all have to be married. Because this proposal came out of nowhere. It wasn't like they sat down and talked about marriage in the last couple of seasons, about when they wanted to get married, when they wanted to do this. Aaron always wanted to marry Karen, but Karen never really wanted to marry Aaron because she always wanted Zach. And now that she can't have Zach, she's settling for Aaron. I feel like the writers are trying to push Karen and Aaron to be a favorite, but it will never happen. But I'm happy that Karen's getting her happy ending, the ending that she thought she wanted. even though it's not with Zach, so she settled for Aaron and got the second best. But let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your bell notifications. Bye!